This was mid.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
I'd have to agree.
The first 2 tracks are good.
I don't agree. Is this thing working? Test. All right. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the New Music Podcast. We're coming back at you with another episode here. We're talking about 5 new projects that have dropped in the last week. A pretty wide variety of things happening this week, too.
Not true.
Not true? Not true? You don't
Not
think?
true.
Okay.
Nope. They're all country.
They're all country albums? All right.
Yep.
Well, you want to tell them what country albums we're taking a look at this week?
All right. First up is an EP, actually,
Yes.
by Turnabout. It is Obscura, Noctis, Mutual. Turnabout's a part of Haunted Mound. Like the emo noise rap is like what I saw people trying to classify it as, but man, it's just its own thing. Would you agree?
It really is its own thing. Haunted Mound, if you're familiar with the collective, kind of has their overall aesthetic. They got a whole thing going on, and to anyone unfamiliar, this is going to be a pretty confusing hopping on point with this Turnabout project because it's very different from what they've done in the past, but we'll talk more about it momentarily.
Yeah. Next up, we have Everything with Mountainhead. It's an indie pop outfit. They have a pretty strong cult following. This is my first time ever hearing about them, to be honest.
Gotcha.
But interesting to talk about. And then we have ScHoolboy Q coming back with Blue Lips.
First album in, I believe, 6 years?
I believe you're right. It's experimental hip hopper. ScHoolboy Q.
ScHoolboy Q.
We have Faye Webster with Underdressed at the Symphony. The genre tag was alt country, and yeah, sure.
A little bit of
Why
everything going on there. Some singer-songwriter, indie pop as well. Just kind of like relaxed music in general.
And then we're gonna end it off with Mannequin
P-word
with I Got Heaven. They have some funk songs. They have some like noise pop going on.
Yeah.
Little crew going on over there. We'll get more into it once we're like talking about that.
Indeed we will, but it's time for us to talk about our first EP, our first project today, Turnabout's Obscura Noctis Moors. Mutual.
Moore's Mutual. It's the insurance company from GTA Online.
I didn't know that. That's awesome. How do you feel about this one? Because I'm kind of the bigger Haunted Mound follower here out of the two of us, but based on everything you know from the past and your just general experience with this album, or well, EP, I guess, how did you feel about it?
Oh, I hated this album, man. This gonna suck.
Genuinely?
No.
Okay.
I blew my clean off.
Okay.
It was so good.
Okay, I was a little worried you would hate it, just because there was a little bit in the back of my mind where there's like, maybe this kind of leans into things that you both like and hate, but I think that crazy experimental edge this one has going on is really cool, and this has got to be one of the best Haunted Mound projects in general, would you say?
Yeah, I fucking loved this thing. Oh my god, when I first listened to it and I heard the beat tag, "You're a goner" in Gonerville, I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's a cool beat tag for sure. He's been kind of on that for a little while, but the beat tags are used the coolest I've heard them. That's a small detail, but like the atmospheres here are just so strong.
Oh, dude, and the intro sample to track 3, we'll play it right now. On the track "Better Off Alone," the do 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 do.
Are you talking about the little synth passage they got going on in there?
Yeah, I
Gotcha.
don't remember what that's from. It's from something.
Is it really? I didn't realize
Yeah.
it was a sample. Let me check.
Like some early Mean Culture. They might just be playing the synth, so it might not technically be a sample. But
Okay.
Turnabout also might be underground enough for them to not show it. I'll have to ask
That's
my wife
true.
what it is from.
Gotcha. Jesus Christ, I just blew my ears out trying to find it out. That's so crazy. This is like the noisiest thing in general Haunted Mount has made in quite some time. Like, there's a really big influence of both black metal and witch house, like I was saying before, which calls back to Cemetery and Ghost Mountain's earliest stuff. They kind of started off the collective. And then the really loud presence of this album also reminds me a bit of Rainbow Bridge 3, which is just like such a good combination. This has got to be what Haunted Mound fans wanted to see, or at least the ones who wanted them to do something different, such as myself. I feel like we're just really eaten lately because Cemetery's new singles have been great, and this is like the best thing they've put out as a collective in so long.
It's brought me back into the enjoyer status of Haunted Mound. I kind of fell out of it for a little while, but this definitely like, wow, oh my god, dude.
Yeah, right. Totally.
Like, what'd you score it overall?
My score for this ended up being about a 92% is what I'm hitting this with.
I gave it a 93%.
Really? That's so crazy.
Yeah, dude.
I would not expect you to be more positive of the two of us, so I'm really glad you enjoyed it that much.
What was your least favorite track?
My least favorite? Probably gonna end up being Tech 9, but I really think they're all pretty fantastic.
My least favorite was Leave Your Things Behind. Tech 9 was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, they're all on such an equal level. Like, these are all 9 and 10 out of 10 songs for me. There's only 4 here. The fourth track, the one you mentioned, really grew on me just because, like, I sunk into the atmosphere of it at one point, and I'm just like, dude, I'm fucking floating with this shit. It's so cool. The Witch House influence and how they put it in with that track is really great, really showing Gonerville's skills as a producer.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. I mean, also, like, he has a new single out already. I don't know if you saw. I did tell you that
I did
earlier.
listen to it.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. Cool. Yeah. This is being put out as part 1 on his social medias. Like, he's referring to this project as part 1. I really hope that this ends up being a more complete project as we go along here, because my only critique of this project is that it's only 4 songs long. So it's like, I just wish there was more. That's all I can complain about at all.
Yeah, for real. Honestly.
Yeah. We need more. just more of this, please. Like, yeah. Holy shit.
Well, give me like 30 minutes of it.
Yeah.
If not more.
Like, I'll take a cool 45, 50 too. I mean, honestly, if it's all going to be this good, it's so killer. I love it. And it makes me just so excited to see what the whole collective is going to do from here too, because it was getting so stale.
Yeah, dude, it really was.
Yeah. But now I have hope, and I'm happy to say that.
Fuck yeah, me too, dude.
Yeah.
I'm hype as fuck.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, did you have like a favorite track?
My specific favorite is probably still the single. I believe Noctis Main is the...
That's my favorite overall.
Yeah, it's such a crazy
so
song.
hard.
Who knew he had that in him with the scream vocals?
I did.
You did?
I called him.
You called him? You let him know to do that, to lay that down?
Yeah.
Like, it's just so unexpected. It's crazy, man.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, bro.
Is that all we have to say on that one, do you think?
Yes.
Okay. Swag. Let's move on forward then.
Straight into the news.
Straight into the news. What do we got up next?
We have everything Mountainhead.
Business, come with me to the mud store.
Are you familiar with them at all?
Familiar with everything? Just in general? Yeah, so I ended up really liking their project Get to Heaven.
I think everybody likes that one.
Yeah, I think that's widely respected as their best album. However, my relationship with that band is pretty weird as of late, because I used to absolutely love that album. Like, Spring, Sun, Winter, Dread, I think is the title, ended up, like, seriously being one of my favorite songs during the period of time that I heard it first. And then that song, as well as I think a few others, I came back to them recently, and I'm like, why is this not hitting? I also remember that in 2020, the album, I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head. I did end up hearing what they dropped that year, and I thought that it was a little bit better than other people seem to think it was, actually, strangely. But I haven't really came back to it, I'll say that much. And then their 2022 release, I just never got around to. So that's my outlook on the band right now, is like, I used to be a bigger fan.
Understandable.
Yeah.
I haven't really heard anything of these guys before, as far as I know.
Yeah, I mean, you might have just heard a few strays here and there, given your taste.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, as somebody totally new to their sound, what did you think of it?
I think it's passable. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's good enough to be put on a playlist if you're gonna put on that kind of playlist or whatever. First couple tracks, I was like, fuck yeah. And then towards the middle, I just kind of fell off of it.
Okay.
I feel like weird about it. You know what I mean?
I think that's totally understandable, and I think that the fact that it is as long as it is could definitely contribute to that. I gotta say, I haven't given it that many front to back listens just because of the massive runtime of it at almost an hour.
It's an endurance test.
Yeah, it really is. Like, that's the one thing I honestly don't like about this album, is just that it's so patience testing. But that being said, I do think it's rewarding once you finally get all the way through it.
I got you.
The way they structured this actual album out as well, with it concluding on the songs that it does, ended up being really cool. I think those are both like a really conclusive moment. I think we have strong themes all throughout this album, kind of like a modern dystopia thing going on with it. I think that's really neat. Like, the commentary given on here is phrased very flowery, I suppose, but it's still digestible enough to drive a point home. And I think that was something pretty cool they did with this album as well, while just kind of making it feel like a vibe to me. Like, this album really kind of scratches some good itches in my brain, okay? Like, it just takes me into a vibe, and I'm just here in the world of this album. Do you feel like you had any moments that were in any way like that?
The whole album's a vibe. Like, it's a vibe front to back.
Yeah? Do you think it's like a good one to like turn on in the background? Is that how you would approach it?
Oh yeah, 100%. If you're like working on something on this album, if you don't really give a shit.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it does work good in both contexts. Again, you're going to be a little bit more tested on your patience if you give it a full dive and like a really analytical listen. But I think that it works really good in both settings, and it's rewarding in both settings. I listened to this one several times. I don't think all the way through usually, but I did listen to it several times while driving, and it kind of completed the vibe.
Like listening to like Wild Guess, The End of the Contender, The Cold Reactor, just a few like the highlights of the tracks while driving.
Wild Guess is a great one to mention there. I don't know what it is. This song makes me want to roll all my windows down and smoke a cigarette. Like, I just picture that. Like,
what did you rate that track?
That track, I gave it a 9 out of 10. I think that one's near perfect. It's so cool.
I started doing out of 100. I gave it an 85.
85, gotcha. I don't ever get that specific with an individual song. I always go out of 10. But yeah, I mean, we're pretty much on the same page.
This album made me do that. For the first two albums I did, or the album and EP, I was doing out of 10. But listening to this, I was like, I feel like it deserved more of like a more detailed listen and review.
That's fair. That's fair. These songs are pretty long. Even the songs themselves are kind of patience testing sometimes.
Yeah, I think some of them are up to like 5 minutes. No, just under 4. Yep, 6 minutes are here.
Yeah, there's some that are 5 and 6 minutes. I think there's not really short songs on it, unless like, I think TV Dog is pretty short.
Speaking of TV Dog, that was one like low point in the album. I was not a fan of it.
I don't mind it, but I don't think it's one of the better songs too. I think that maybe a little bit more could have been done with it. It doesn't have the really cool layering going on or like the dense atmosphere that the best songs on this album have. I don't feel like I can sink into it. That being said, it does feel like one of the more emotional and really like personal moments on the album in a way.
Easily.
Yeah, like I can pick up on what they're conveying pretty well with that song.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's bad. Like I know a lot of people
No.
aren't digging that one, but I think it adds to the album in some ways.
I don't think there's a bad track on the album.
There's some I don't care about.
Yeah.
Let's see. Like that one on its own I would never come back to. Are You Happy is the same way for me. I mean, like, that one just totally fades to the background. It just doesn't have a sound that actively appeals to me. And I'm going to throw out yet another hot take here. I don't really dig Cold Reactor. I think it's a pretty poor follow-up to the really good first two songs, despite it being an okay song. Like, don't get me wrong.
What did you rate Cold Reactor?
I gave it a 7 on that one.
I gave it a 74 because I actually agree. I feel like it's kind of like a slap in the face, and that's where like the next couple tracks get it off for me, and then it picks back up. The Mad Stone, it was good, and then it gets slapped again by TV Dog.
Yes, fucking the Mad Stone is so good. I love that track. Like, definitely one of my favorites. I think I ended up making that one my third favorite, and I was blown away that they topped it.
That's actually my third favorite too.
That's wild. That is pretty cool.
By like 1 point.
Yeah, I mean, same. Like, my other two favorites are 10s, and that one is a 9 for me, if we're gonna, like, dig into numbers that way still.
Yeah.
I really, really loved the closing of this album with City Song and The Witness. These songs sound like they came straight from heaven to me. I mean, just some crazy shit. Like, did you care for these? Because I feel like it'd be easier to kind of ignore them, but once I sank into it, I really appreciated them.
I didn't really sink into them. I sunk into the first two tracks actually, like
Okay.
Wild Guess and the End of the Contender are my two favorite tracks. And the End of the Contender is my favorite track overall, but like not by a lot.
I think it's a good
Pretty
one.
close to Wild Guess.
Yeah, okay. That's definitely decent. I think maybe this album could grow on you. Yeah, and whether or not you want to give it the time of day is like a little bit of effort because, again, it's got a long runtime and it's a little patience testing, as we've said a few times now, but I do think it's a rewarding listen, and I think it's their best in a long time, too, just because... Well, I guess I can't say that because I don't know their 2022 album, but I think it's a standout that seems like it could be the best since that one album that people really like, Get to Heaven. Yeah. Again, I have to revisit some of their stuff because I don't know, like something about the sound when I came back to it recently just felt corny to me, and I feel like they really toe the line between what is and isn't corny, if that makes any sense to you at all.
The band or just that album or this album?
The band in general.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I originally made some comparisons to AJR.
That is so great because I was going to say the way that I've put this before in the past is that Glass Animals is AJR but good, and then and follow me, and then Everything is Glass Animals but good. It's like you have this hierarchy. Yeah, this band shows what AJR could be if they really committed. Because it still kind of has that, like, overly theatrical tone, and, like, sometimes it is a little bit on the corny side of things, or at least toes the line. But, I mean, I don't think it ever gets to full corny territory.
No, it gets close.
And the other thing about that, too, is that the lyrical content even really toes the line there, because they are writing about some themes, especially like the Mad Stone being kind of about social media and like the overwhelming amount of technology in our culture. That stuff kind of ends up coming across to me as like the fucking old man screams at cloud meme a lot of the time when people put that in their music, but I think it was really effective here. Like, I think they did it in a way that's just tasteful enough.
I would have to agree.
Perfect. What did you end up rating it?
I rated it a cornball out of 100.
Oh, God.
No, I'm kidding. I give it a 72.
You gave it a 72? I gave it an 84, but
oh my god,
I was closer to a 70 and around that general area when I was just listening to it passively. I'll say that much. Yeah, it just grew on me a lot on my last more detailed listen.
All right.
Is that all we have to say on that one then, do you think?
Yeah.
We'll then move on to ScHoolboy Q's Blue Lips.
Like damn, why I get a bitch like Yearn? I'm a drop top nigga, the sun won't burn when I live like what, but the stripes ain't earned. I'ma get it right now, I ain't waiting no turn. Back
big comeback for him. His last album, a little bit underwhelming, I think, unanimously. I think I ended up liking it at the time a little bit better than a lot of people did, and I still come back to a few songs, honestly, but definitely his least significant project. So this is kind of a moment of redemption for him. Like, he had to give it his all this time around, I think. Do you think that paid off?
I've never been disappointed with a good album, but this is like this is kind of that though.
I see what you mean. So like you were hoping for something else, but it's still good. Is that what you mean?
I was hoping for something more.
Something more. Do you mean more in its like conceptual nature, or just like in how completed it is? Like, what were you exactly hoping for?
I feel like some of the tracks ended up being like incomplete or just like rushed almost.
Okay.
I'm gonna specifically cite Foe, the Absol feature track. Like, he was mixed weird as hell.
Really?
I didn't like the way they had him on the like mixed in. I went back and listened to some Absol projects. I think they're trying something new, and I don't think it worked out very well. That could just be me being weird though, and not liking a different sound of Absol.
I like him on that song, and I'm not super familiar with Absol's previous works. I just know a few songs, to be honest with you, but I liked how that one played out. That's one of my favorite songs, I'm not gonna lie.
If it wasn't Absol, then maybe because it was a really good track. Like, I really liked it. It's just that part really fucked it up for me.
Okay, that's totally fair. I think there are weird mixing moments. I think there's songs that definitely feel incomplete. But the more I revisited this album and the more that I really got into it, I feel like a lot of that messiness is an intentional aesthetic choice. It really feels like he's got a lot going on mentally, and he's also showing the contrast between like a harder lifestyle and the success he's at right now. And I think that the weird, chaotic flow of this album was a choice. Whether or not you appreciate it is probably a different story. And personally, I'm mixed on the execution, but do you know what I mean with that?
I do. I was just going to say that actually.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty cool what he went in with and the intentions that he had going in here. Having songs that are pretty incomplete, though, is frustrating sometimes, I will say.
I'm going to keep it real, though. This is objectively better than Crash Talk.
Oh, so much better. Like, let's absolutely be real with this. This is
just want to clear the air before I critique it a little more.
Yeah, it's a huge improvement. But yeah, go ahead and air some more thoughts on it.
Have you ever heard of Childish Major?
No.
I've never either. I really liked his feature on that track.
Yeah, no. That one slaps. That's one of the better songs.
Yeah, it's okay, so my two favorite tracks on this were Pig Feet and Pop for the features, honestly.
Those are bangers.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I don't know if I care for what Rico Nasty did, though. Her feature is kind of simple.
Yeah, for what Rico Nasty could do, I will give you that, and that stops it from being a perfect track for me, and it does stop it from being my favorite track.
I see.
But I think her contribution to the track was still, like, significant enough to be, like, a fucking awesome.
Yeah, no.
Like, having her just say, popped in, pop, 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 pop.
The way that song flows is absolute chaos, like much of the album, but it hits really hard. And I mean, personally, I think that energy is continued on really well with Thank God For Me, because this one has that like slow to fast dynamic with it, which a few songs do. This one's like just as hard of a banger, but it's more trippy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, right after that, too, you have a more introspective cut with Blue Slides. And I think, again, this is kind of showing us that duality between his two themes that he has going on here and the, like, chaotic mental state that seems to have conjured up this album. Did you care for the slower tracks?
Oh, fuck, which ones were the slower tracks?
Blue Slides, Parts of Lovebirds. I'm trying to remember.
I liked those tracks.
You like those
tracks?
Yeah. Germany 86, I think, was a really good narrative moment.
That's another banger.
Yeah. Definitely gives some introspective balance to the album on that song, I think. It's really a mixed bag. It really is. Like, we're sitting here pointing out so many specific tracks, and I mean, there is 18 to be deciphered here. I mean, there's a lot to dive into.
Yeah, it's definitely like a full album. Like, it's got a lot of shit.
It's got so much shit going on. Let's talk about some other great ones while we're at it. Yearn 101.
I was about to say that.
Okay. Perfect. Because, yeah, this one too, I mean, if you're going to pick and choose specific songs on here, I think that's one of the best ones to pick. Oh my God, it hits hard.
It was a pretty good track. It wasn't my favorite, but it's still an 8.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was my favorite. I think it feels the most balanced out to me. And I do like the chaos again, but I wish it was executed a little bit differently. Oh, I also wanted to mention total like tangent and side note, but there's an interpolation of Wrist by Father on, I want to say it's Back in Love. Hold on. I thought I wrote it down.
Oh, yeah, they go rich.
It's written like that in the like Apple Music.
But it sounds like wrist.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it actually is, but I believe it's confirmed to be an actual interpolation. And on Genius it says wrist, so I'm not actually sure which one it is. But either way, yeah, it is an interpolation of the Father song, which is super cool. And I think it's also really interesting because I want to say JPEG Mafia also recently interpolated that. Like, how are we seeing this happen again so soon? It's cool. I love that song. So that just stands out to me as something I notice. Kind of calling back to those like old cloud rap songs is cool to me. Yeah, I think that's pretty sick. Other than that, I mean, like, where do we even go?
What was your least favorite track? My least favorite was Movie.
No, you're shitting me.
Yeah.
You're shitting my pants right now.
No.
I fucking love that song. The only reason it's not in my top 3 is because it isn't longer.
I don't really fuck with it.
Oh my God, it's so cool though. Like, it just has such a swagger to it. I don't know how else to say it. It just, oh man, that one hits me good. Like, I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
Probably just needs time.
Maybe.
Now, Movie and the Foe, the Absol song.
Yeah, honestly, I liked Foe as well. So we're totally on different sides of the spectrum here. That's actually my third favorite. I mean, if anything, that really shows you how much of a mixed bag this album is. It's like we have totally different favorites and least favorites, despite the fact that we've both been fans for a long time. I mean, there's just a lot.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot to say. But that being said, I think we've said the lots to say that there is, or at least what we have time for. Would you like to move on to the next one?
No.
No?
What was your final score?
Oh, shit. I thought I had already said it, but I forgot. I went with a 79 on this one.
I gave it a 73.
79 and 73. Gotcha. Maybe I'm just a little more positive this week. I don't know. But either way, totally fair.
I liked Turnabout more than you.
That's true, actually. Yeah. 1 point more.
You rock.
Yeah. I suppose. Next up, we got Faye Webster's Underdressed at the Symphony.
I wanna like a wink, I wanna kiss it when I go too soon. I think we're perfect, yeah. My baby loves me, he loves me, yeah. I long for your touch, but don't mix.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I feel like this is more your bag. Like, you listen to a lot of this indie singer-songwriter type stuff when we lived together.
This was mid.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
I'd have to agree.
The first 2 tracks were good.
I don't agree. I really...
Rest was mid.
The song that I'm going to walk away from this remembering is Lego Ring, and the rest...
Yeah, I remember that one too, because Lil Yachty sounded so weird on that track.
It's so cool, though. I wish there was more songs on this album that were as well fleshed out as that one is. I feel like it was only that well put together because she had a feature for it, so like everybody was actually at 100%. But the rest of this feels like there's a little bit of effort missing. That one actually felt well put together, and Yachty sounds weird as fuck on that song, but it's cool. It's cool. I love it.
I was like, man, are you reading my notes right now?
Actually, is that your thoughts too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that song standing out for me and nothing else really. Like, But Not Kiss is cute, and then He Loves Me Yeah is probably the weirdest song on the album, and I kind of liked it for its like odd little vocal thing it has going on. And again, it's kind of cute. It's kind of sweet. Like, this album has a likable energy to it. It's just not all there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, like, the lyricism here is likable, and I enjoy her personality, but there's just not enough words. These songs will have like 2 lines to 4 lines per verse, and then it's just a chorus that's 1 line repeated. And it feels lazy to me, but it just also feels like she didn't have time to complete it or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Was there any like specific tracks that were particularly dog shit for you?
Yes, give me just a second.
For me, it was "He Loves Me." Yeah.
Oh, really? It
Hurt
is.
my ears.
It's not great, but it's kind
The
of
womp
like
hurt my ears, bro.
the what?
The womp.
What do you mean by that?
Go listen to it. There's a womp.
It's a womp.
Yeah, in the beginning, the whoa, whoa, whoa.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
Fucking hurt my ears, bro. Also, Time pissed me off.
Time did? Oh yeah, little annoying, little repetitive. I don't think it's one of the worst ones though either.
I don't like her voice. I'm gonna keep it real. Feel bad saying that.
Yeah, I always do too, but at some point you do just have to put it out in the air that certain people are not going to be to your preference vocally, and I can totally see her being a polarizing vocalist. She sounds tired, if that makes sense. Like, she sounds like she's kind of sleepy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't mind it. It's got a lot of like quirk to it. Her singing voice is different, I guess, but it's not in a way I dislike. My least favorites ended up being Underdressed at the Ceremony, the title track, eBay Purchase History, and Lifetime, just because they seemed the most insignificant to me. Like, I can't remember what those songs sound like at all. Just right now. Like, I have no idea. And I listened to this album earlier today, to be clear.
Me too.
Unlike the Everything Everything album, I think this absolutely does not benefit from a close listen. It's in no way rewarding. In fact, it ends up being a little more frustrating because some of these songs just drag on.
Yeah, bro. I have to agree.
Yeah.
This shit, mid.
Yeah, it's a little mid. It's a little mid for sure. I ended up giving it a 59. How about you?
I gave it a 65.
How did you give it a higher score than me?
I liked the first 2 tracks.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. All right. Well, I think that leads us then into our final project for the week.
Mannequin Pussy.
Craziest fucking name. Yes, Mannequin Pussy.
I got heaven. And there's heaven, and they got it.
There is heaven. They did get it.
Shit's crunchy, bro.
It's pretty crunchy, yeah.
Especially the track, okay.
I love that one. That might be my favorite. I think that is.
That is my favorite track.
It goes so hard. It goes so hard.
So crunchy.
So crunchy. The way they go back and forth between, like, hardcore and indie rock is wild. I mean, it's so insane. I've never heard this much tonal variation in an album, I don't think.
And it's not by much, but the hardcore tracks ended up being some of my favorites.
Me too, and I think that just maybe caters a little bit more to our tastes. Because both of us, I mean, kind of grew up on that stuff.
Everything is like 8s and 9s besides Softly, Aching, and Split Me Open. I give those a 77, 78, and 77 respectively.
I didn't like Split Me Open as much. I also didn't like I Don't Know You quite as much, just because, yeah, out of the slower songs, not really great ones. Those are both 7s for me, though.
I think I Don't Know You was my favorite of those songs.
Yeah, I mean, they're all really close to each other. That's the thing. Like, there's not a lot of quality difference. They don't leave a lot of room for error, because this is only, like, 30 minutes long, I think? And they don't give any error. Like, this is all almost perfect. They're so good at everything they attempt. It's wild.
Yeah, bro. What were your favorite tracks? Because mine ended up being what we mentioned earlier, the okay. And then my second favorite's gonna end up being I Got Heaven. The opener really fucking drew me in.
Yeah, it's a really great opener, and it shows you a little bit of both sides of the album. I think it's the only one that kind of goes back and forth like that, so it really does rope you in and let you know what you're in for with the experience, I think. My other favorites on the album ended up being Aching and Sometimes, and I believe both of those were the more heavy songs, if I remember correctly.
Sometimes it's not heavy. Sometimes it's one of the like medium pace songs.
Yeah, I was about to correct myself on that. I do think it's just the best of the more indie rock feeling songs that have some pop sensibilities to them. I think this one had like a lot of emotion in it looking back at it now.
Yeah.
There's just so much going on and the songs are kind of quick, so I end up forgetting which one is which. But yeah, I think that's one of the highlights for sure too. And it's also kind of crazy how they are really rivaling some of the best doing it in both hardcore and indie rock. Like how are they this talented?
Yeah, they're like, hey, by the way.
Yeah, right. It's a lot of versatility. I feel like they could even do more in between, just because if you're good at these two styles, there's a lot of middle ground that you could attempt there.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited to see what else they come up with.
Yeah, and I've been meaning to check them out for a while. I gotta say, with a name like Mannequin Pussy, I was really expecting something a little bit more...
Worse?
A little bit more weird. Like, that sounds like something I would find on Bandcamp at 3 a.m. and be like, wow, I hate my life. But...
yeah, I thought it was going to sound like the Your Arms Are My Cocoon.
Oh, that yeah. The like, emo one. That like, old crazy thingy. Yeah. Yeah. No, that is more what I would expect. Something like crazy and industrial and weird. But I mean, I'm okay with indie rock and hardcore as well. Like that's fine. I fuck with both of these genres.
Yeah, it's my two favorite genres.
I mean, it's two of my favorites. So like, this is great. Like, I don't know why they went with the name they did, but hey, man, it kind of slaps though.
Did you go through the lyrics at all for any of the tracks?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think that they have a really cool thing going on with the lyrics. It takes a little bit more digging just because you're going to be kind of hit with all these sounds all at once a lot of the time, but I think there's a lot of emotion and some really nice writing, would you say?
Oh, yeah, dude. I made sure to go through this episode and actually follow along with the lyrics in every single one of these albums. And
gotcha.
This album was just like, out of lyrically, the best one this week.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's absolutely fair. I really loved just even that opening song, the way that it kind of focuses on finding like peace within yourself instead of religion and like external factors. I thought that was like a really cool theme. If you get what I'm getting from that, you know what I mean?
With cool fucking lyrics like, and what if Jesus himself ate my fucking snatch?
Yeah, that goes hard. Yeah, very irreverent album. I'll say that much. Like, this is not one to play around the
hose,
the church going folk. I'll say that much. Or the scaring the hose. A little bit. Sometimes not. Sometimes not at all. But do you have any other thoughts on this album? Like, just in general? Like, you got anything else to...
This album fucks.
It fucks. It does. It's... Like, I cannot recommend this one enough. It's really such a easy one to get into, and it's such a short time investment.
Yeah.
Like, you're just gonna get hit with a bunch of cool sounds and then, like, maybe cry, maybe, like, dance around your living room, one of the two, maybe get in a car crash. Whatever it is, it'll be worth it.
Whoa. What was your score?
My score on this ended up being an 80%.
Whoa, I gave it an 82.
82, nice. We're about on the same page yet again. Very cool, very cool. Definitely a shorter episode this time around, I think, because we ended up just covering an EP for our fifth project this week. It seemed like just a lot of, like, critic bait happening this time around, so that's why we just...
Yeah,
I mean, too many Blue albums, man. Like, if you know what I mean, too many Blue stars, bro.
I do.
Like,
I was the Faye Webster just lost hers, but she had one too.
Yeah. And that one feels like such a critic album.
How come Mountainhead doesn't have one yet? Is it 15 reviews or 11 or 10?
15 15.
Okay, because they have 11.
Yeah. So, I mean, Mountainhead will probably have it soon. ScHoolboy Q may or may not. I mean, lots of critic
I don't
stuff.
think he's gonna give it because ScHoolboy Q's sitting at a 79 right now.
I don't know. It's possible. But yeah, either way, very criticky week, but we decided to throw Turnabout in there, of course, as well, as kind of our little underground pick this time around. Super cool album from him. I suppose that kind of leads us into our rankings for the week. Our lowest score this week, pretty predictably, pretty mid, Faye Webster.
Faye Webster.
Yeah, Faye Webster, Underdressed at the Symphony, coming in at an average of 62 between the two of us. I mean, personally, I would say that there's some stuff that's worth checking out on there. Like, just listen to Lego Ring, to be honest. Not a terrible album, not something we hate, but, I mean...
If you're into it.
If you're into it, yeah, more power to you, for sure. I can totally see some people doing so. ScHoolboy Q, unfortunately, coming kind of low on the list this week, with Blue Lips at a 76 between the two of us. Messy album, but cool album is how I would put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything's Mountainhead ended up being my favorite of the actual albums this week, I think. And that came in at our third place for our average at 78%. I think Mannequin Pussy's album is your favorite of the actual albums of the week?
Of the actual albums, correct.
Okay, perfect, yeah. That came in at an 81 between the two of us. Super good project. Like I said, I can't recommend this one enough. It's just not a big time investment at all. Just turn it on, rock out. It's a good fucking time. And then our top project for the week, probably the first time this has happened, the EP actually came in top. Turnabout's new EP is sitting at a 92.5 between the two of us. We both love it. We're both excited to see what Haunted Mound does next. And what Turnabout does next, because that new single is actually pretty cool too.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, well, that is just about going to wrap it up for this week. Micah, do you have anything to say to the people before we head on out of here?
I don't speak words.
You don't speak words? All right. Well, that's pretty wholesome anyhow. So, we will see you next time.